Good morning. In today's session, we are going to see the importance of water resources. Now, you just watch the video which gives inputs on the immense use of water. Water, a renewable resource, is an important element of hydrosphere. There are several activities which require water. It is used for daily course by all the living organisms. Apart from that, it is also used for electricity production, irrigation, industrial use, navigation, and other domestic purposes. Oceans occupy around 3/4 of the Earth's surface, and these oceans include approximately 97.5% of Earth's water in fully saline conditions. The remaining 2.5% is fresh water, which is suitable for human consumption, but all of it is not available in such a form that humans can consume it directly. Out of the total freshwater, 1.97% is always in a frozen condition in the form of glacial or polar ice. Rest of the freshwater is available in different forms such as water in lakes and rivers. It is 0.02%. Groundwater 0.5%. Dissolved in soil 0.01%. And in atmosphere 0.0001%. Therefore, it can be concluded that a very small amount of fresh water is accessible for direct human use. Adding to it, the distribution of fresh water is very unbalanced on geographical basis, differing from one country to another and even from one region of a country to other. The most significant role of maintaining various forms of water in nature is played by water cycle. Water from moist surface of earth, oceans, lakes, streams, etc. evaporates and passes into the atmosphere. These water vapors, after condensation process, come back to the earth in the form of rainfall, snow and hail. The amount of moisture present in the air at any given point of time is sufficient to fulfill a total rainfall need of only 10 days. Hence, water moves very rapidly from land and ocean into the atmosphere. The time period of 10 days is the average residence period of water in air. Global evaporation takes place from two major sources. The ocean surface contributes a major portion, that is 84% of the total global evaporation, and the rest 16% is contributed from the land surface. Out of the total rains received on earth, around 77% is received on sea surface as against its contribution of 84% in global evaporation, and the remaining 23% of rainfall is received on land as against its contribution of 16% in the global evaporation. Therefore, land surface receives a net of 7% additional rainfall. The extra rainfall received on land goes back to the oceans by surface water flows and surface runoff through rivers. The hydrological cycle is an ideally balanced cycle as the total amount of annual evaporation is equivalent to the total annual precipitation. Types of water resources. The most beneficial source of water are provided by few of the significant types of water resources which are explained here. 1. Saltwater resources. Saltwater resources are the one which use salt water for the welfare of human beings and to safeguard the environment from degradation. It is a well-known fact that a huge resource of salt water is present on earth. However, when these saltwater resources are exposed to regular water supplies, they lose their beneficial properties. Saltwater resources can be utilized for the generation of hydroelectrical energy. Two, surface water resources. Another important type of water resources is the surface water resources. Surface water resources play a crucial role in maintaining various kinds of technologies and enhancing productivity. Water present in the form of rivers and streams together constitute the surface water resources. Water from surfaces is primarily used for different purposes such as for the generation of hydroelectrical energy, for industrial use, and for agricultural use. These types of water resources are very vital as 98% of this water is utilized in different industries for fulfilling production purposes. Three, groundwater resources. Groundwater resources constitute several kinds of freshwater resources. Due to its high functionality, people make use of groundwater to improve the growth rate of plants. Another advantage of groundwater is that as it moves in ground, it makes the soil fertile and raises the level of productivity of that soil. Groundwater is categorized into two zones, namely saturated and unsaturated zones. These two zones are segregated by means of water table present below the ground level. Next is use of water resources. The utilization of water resources are 1. Commercial water use. Apart from domestic use of water, which is perhaps the most indispensable daily utilization of water for almost everywhere. Water resources are also used for commercial purposes. Water satisfies the needs of restaurants, office buildings, hotels, military, civilian institutions, and other commercial facilities. 2. Domestic use. The daily necessities of a household come under the domestic use of water. Water is widely used for different activities such as cooking, drinking, washing clothes and utensils, bathing, watering gardens and lawns, and flushing toilets. 3. Industrial water use. Water is a priceless possession of any country as it is useful for several activities such as processing, transportation, dilution, cooling in production facilities, and cleaning. Industries like steel, petroleum refining, paper, and chemical use water extensively. Generally, industries make use of the same water again and again by recycling it for various production processes. 4. Irrigation water use. Water is also used for horticulture crops, pastures, farms, orchards, etc. It is also useful in several chemical applications, leaching of salts from the crop root zone, irrigating pastures, crop cooling harvesting, and frost and freeze protection. Irrigation water is also used for non-agricultural activities such as self-supplied water for parks, private and public golf courses, etc. 5. Livestock water use. Water is also required for stock animals, fish farms, dairies, feed loads, and other non-farm requirements. It is very essential for animals like horses, rabbits, and other pets, and also required for manufacturing of red meat, milk, wool, and eggs. Fresh water is the only source of water used for livestock water use. 6. Mining water use. Water used for extraction of naturally present minerals comes under this type of water utilization. Minerals are used in the form of solids, liquids, and gaseous. For example, coal and ores are in solid form, petroleum in liquid form, and natural gas is in the gaseous form. All mineral types require water for extraction. The category involves milling, quarrying like crushing, screening, washing, and flotation and other activities under mining operations. Water used for mining mainly comprises of saline water. That is approximately 32% of water used is saline in nature. 7. Public supply water use. Public supply of water includes water extracted by private and public water supplies like country and municipal water works, which is delivered to the users for industrial, commercial, and domestic purposes. About 84% of India's population use of water provided by public water supplies. 8. Thermoelectric power water use. Thermoelectric power water use implies the amount of water utilized in the production of electric power generated with heat. Electric power generated from heat can be from various sources like geothermal, fossil fuels, or nuclear fission. Commonly, fossil fuel power plants make use of recycled water. A turbine using steam power is turned for generation of electricity. Once the turbine are turned, the steam is condensed once again to water by cooling it. The water condensed by cooling method is routed back to the boiler and once again the cycle is begun. 9. Hydroelectric power. An estimation of 84,044 megawatt at 60% load factor is done for hydropower potential of India. The installed capacity of hydropower projects at the time of independence was 508 megawatt, which has increased to the installed capacity of around 22,000 megawatt by the end of the year 1998. In order to develop small hydropower stations in the Himalayan and sub-Himalayan regions of India, a potential of the order of 10,000 megawatt is available. The growth of hydropower projects in major Indian basins is highly irregular. Hence, it is the need of the hour and a highly demanded issue to formulate a master plan for the expansion of small, medium, and large hydropower projects in order to generate power in India. Next is associated problems with water resources. The main problems associated with water resources are floods, droughts, and water crisis. Floods. Usually, floods occur due to excessive rainfall or melting of snow or glaciers or a mixture of these two that surpasses the water holding capacity of rivers and water bodies, causing them to flood the plains. During floods, rivers carry fertile sediments which they deposit or spread evenly on level lands. These fertile sediments often act as regions for human residence and settlement. Building dams and upstream is one of the major ways to control floods. India pays a heavy price every year in the form of loss of lives and livelihoods to floods. Flooding causes heavy silting of the arable land and make it unfit for agricultural use. This was seen in Odisha in 1999. High tides adversely affected the coastal areas due to super cyclone and damaged the crop regions by mixing salts in them. Next is effects of floods. Flooding has many damaging effects. Some of them are 1. Loss of lives and property. The instant effect of floods is the widespread loss of lives and property that occurs. Floods leads to the loss of human life, livestock like cattle and sheep, agricultural produce, etc., and also damage infrastructure facilities like roads, bridges, shelters, etc. Moreover, it also leads to the outbreak of waterborne diseases which quickly turns into epidemic. 2. Loss of livelihoods. Due to floods, economic activities also take a halt since all means of communication, transportation, and infrastructure such as roads, bridges, rail network, etc., either gets disrupted or damaged. This severely impacts the functioning of economy. Also, the normal lives of people are affected in a negative way. 3. Decreased purchasing and production power. Floods also cease supply of clean drinking water for a long time. Electricity goes out as the lines get uprooted. Even the telecom facilities are affected. There is widespread loss of livelihoods and thus the purchasing power of the consumers is decreased. Also, due to unavailability of basic facilities, the production of products is
4.
also
Mass migration.
affected. The floods cause massive loss of livelihoods and suffering in the citizenry of the economy. The people are subjected to loss of employments and economic hardships. This often leads to mass migration of communities from rural and semi-urban areas to the urban areas. 5. Psychosocial effects. The impact of floods can also leave a lasting psychological and social impact on the victims. It is very hard to recover from the harmful impact of such an event in a short period of time. The impact is seen maximum on children and can leave an indelible impact on their future lives. Second one, drought. Drought is a very harmful natural hazard. It has far reaching effects which differ in intensity from one region to another. Generally, drought occurs when there is lack of precipitation over an increased or extended period of time, sometimes more than one season. This leads to a chronic shortage of water in an area. It occurs because of the interaction between the lack of precipitation and the increased demand from the local population. It is very difficult to define what constitutes drought as it may be interpreted by different cultures in different ways. For example, non-occurrence of rain for 6 days would classify as drought in Libya, but not in Delhi. The effects of drought are clearly visible in this video. Let's see what are the effects of drought. Drought has the following consequences. First one, physical impact. The physical impact of drought leads to a harmful impact on moisture content of soil, surface runoff, and groundwater level. The soil tends to get dry and the wells become ineffective in fulfilling the demands of the population. This is because the groundwater table gets lowered because of drought. Also, in severe conditions, lakes, ponds, and other water reservoirs became dry. 2. Impact on agriculture. Agriculture in India depends on a large extent upon monsoons. Around two-thirds of the land in India lacks access to irrigation and is fed through rains. This is why there is such a great deal of fluctuation in agriculture output in India. There have been many similar cases in the country because of extreme shortfalls in cultivated areas and accompanied loss of productivity. To overcome the fluctuations in local production of grains, India often has to import agricultural commodities to overcome supply fluctuations. 3. Social and economic impact. The social impacts of drought are far-reaching and often psychological in psyche of nature. They leave a deep impression on the local population, which can also lead to social unrest like revolts, civil wars, etc. Next is conflicts and water crisis. Water has often been the cause of conflicts between different states and even among nations. Though certainly not the only cause of conflict, water resources have a long history of violence and tensions among nations for its consumption and access. Many times, water systems are used as tactical weapons in battles. Two or more nations share about 3/5 of water in rivers. That is, 145 nations have 263 river basins, upon which 2/5 of world's population survive. There is thus a great dependence on water which originates outside the national boundary of a country. For example, 34% of India's water and 76% of Pakistan's water resources originate outside their national boundaries. Likewise, the Nile River Basin is shared by 11 nations, and thus these nations depend upon each other for sharing water resources. More than a billion people in the world do not have access to safe and potable water. This problem is going to increase in magnitude as the world population by 2050 will explode to 9 billion. This problem will be felt more in those countries which have a high population base and are also dependent on other countries for source of fresh water. It is because of this reason that incidences of water conflicts are increasing all over the world. Some more facts. Billion people lack access to safe water and 2.4 billion lack to adequate sanitation. More than 6,000 children die every day from diseases associated with unsafe water, and sanitation causes an estimated 80% of all diseases in the developing world. Water use has grown at twice the rate of the population during the past century. Next, classification of conflicts over water. Control of water resources, military tool, political tool, terrorism, military target, and development disputes. Next is water conservation and its management. The conservation and effective utilization of the water resources can be done in the following manner. 1. Rainwater harvesting. The rainwater can be effectively managed in urban areas through the process of rainwater harvesting. This is the process of collecting rainwater in places like rooftops and also storing it underground for future consumption. This recharges the depletion of groundwater level and increases the reducing water table. Also, it perhaps in enhancing the water supply. The process of rainwater harvesting and artificial recharging are thus very vital in the management of the water resources. Second one, agriculture. The conservation and effective utilization of water in agriculture is vital because of the role that water plays in agriculture production. There are many indigenous techniques which are very effective in the utilization of water. 1. Tank system. The tank system plays a very important role in the management of water resources in many water scarce regions of India. The tanks are made by a process of bunding or simply a portion of land is excavated for gathering rainwater. 2. The state of Rajasthan hardly receives rainfall in good amount. Consequently, people of that state have become very efficient in water management and make extremely productive use of their water resources. They create large bunds known as khadin for making reservoirs. Also, they build dams, tanks, etc. to collect rainwater or accumulate running water. 3. Ponds. Small reservoirs like ponds should not be used for the purpose of dumping or sewage disposal. Instead, the ponds should be deepened through dragline excavators as it will act as a natural reservoir for collecting rainwater. Some water facts. Global consumption of water is doubling every 20 years. Available fresh water amounts to less than 1/2 of 1% of the water on earth. Fresh water is renewable only by rainfall at the rate of only 40,000 to 50,000 kilometer cube per year. The UN reports that nearly 31 countries face water stress and scarcity. 50% of people lack adequate sanitation. Only 2% of the continental US rivers and streams remain free flowing. They have lost over 50% of that country's wetlands. Next is World Water Day. March 22 of every year is celebrated as World Water Day. Enjoy the video about water.